Well, there's my first bite of the morning, and I'm pretty sure what it's gonna, yeah, I'm pretty darn sure what it's gonna be, the way it's fighting. Oh man, he's just dogging it. Just dogging it. I love this. Oh, what a good looking fish. What a good looking fish. Yeah. The object of our affections. Let's see if I can get him in here. Try and alley-oop him. Oh, yes. Woo-hoo! Hey, I'm Mark Romanack. You're watching Fishing 4-in-1, and if any luck at all today happens, you're going to see a few more of these bronze backs. That is a beautiful Ontario smallmouth. You know, crankbaits are one of those lures that are great fish finding tools. They're not always the best way to catch fish, but they're often a great way to locate fish because you can cover a lot of water with them very, very quickly. A couple of the fundamental things you want to understand about crankbaits is they need to be fished in contact with something. What do I mean by that? Well, I want to use a lure that dives deep enough that it's actually getting down and bumping the bottom. I'm trying to imitate a crayfish with this crankbait, so obviously I don't want it suspended in the water column. I want it right down on the bottom where a crayfish lives. So I'm making long casts, and then I'm putting my rod tip down towards the water to reel, and that's going to allow the crankbait to get as deep as it possibly can get. And I reel until I feel it start to contact the bottom, and then I kind of slow down and just stay in contact with the bottom as I'm reeling it. Hopefully this crankbait's going to bounce off some rocks, ricochet, look like a crayfish, and trigger some more smallmouth bites. Really nicely. Oh, it's a pike. It's a pike. Now that would explain why it was staying down so good. This area, oh man, has he got my crankbait right down his throat. I'm going to be really lucky to be able to recover this lure. Really lucky. He's got that thing right down inside his throat. Ouch. There. Oh man. He liked that crankbait, but he's not exactly what I'm looking for today. But on a slow day like today, I'll take whatever I can get. Man, that's going to require tools to get that out of there. I'm not putting my fingers in there. Well, the setting for this week's episode is a place called Brennan Harbour Resort, and it's on the north shore of Lake Huron in an area they call the Whaleback region of Lake Huron. It's absolutely gorgeous. In fact, it's one of the prettiest places I've ever had the pleasure of fishing. Brennan Harbour Resort is a drive-to destination, but it's also a full-service camp. In other words, you can have the American plan here if you want. In other words, if you're looking for them to prepare your meals. If you would rather do a housekeeping plan, they have cottages here, and you can bring your own food, and you can do your own cooking as well. So you can go either way, either the American plan or the housekeeping option, whichever is best for your budget. Man, I hope I can get this puppy in here. He's getting me down on these weeds. This is the reason you come up here. Wow. Come on, baby, get out here where we can see you. Look at this fish. I like a kid in the candy store. I was just looking at this spot. There's some cabbage weed here, a little bit of rock, and I was thinking to myself, now this looks like a spot a big smallmouth ought to live in. Look at that fish. Come here, puppy. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Holy Jupiters. Look at that. That's a big smallmouth right there. Man, oh man. All right. Things are looking up today. It's day 2 for our Brennan Harbor adventure. We'll have been fishing about 5 minutes. And that beautiful smallie, of course, ate a grub, a little tube jig, Man, I'm happy with that one. Very happy. Absolute studs. Well, that is a beautiful fish. We can keep him buckled up here. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm gonna have to use the landing net on this guy too. These are just too big to lift, and this boat's just a little too deep to reach over to the side. So I'll bring him back this way here for a second. Run around here one more time, big guy. We don't have any more jumps left in him. There we go. I'd like to say I got a pattern figured out, but it's a little too early to say that. But both of the fish today have come on tube grubs. Not anything that you would think would be out of the ordinary. Man, oh man, they feed on crayfish here. There's tons of crayfish in these rocks, and the tube jig, of course, looks a lot like crayfish when it skitters along the bottom. That is a beautiful smallmouth. One of the things to me that jumps out most about Brennan Harbour Resort was the quality of the smallmouth we caught. They were absolutely stellar fish. And the entire time they were here, we didn't catch a fish under 2 pounds. In fact, the vast majority of the fish were 3 to 4 pounds and a couple of 5-pounders mixed in. So tremendous quality bass. And I think that plays to the fact that the bass fishing here gets very little pressure. Most of the people here are looking for walleye or northern pike. You know what? I kind of jinxed myself because last time I caught one, I said, all I'm catching are studs. These are all big fish. Well, law of averages. This one is a leaper and he's a lot of fun, but he is definitely not a trophy fish. I'm gonna get us pushed off this rock a little bit here. The wind's sliding me into the shoreline here. But he is definitely a fighter. One thing I love about smallmouth, even the small ones, love to fight. All right, let's see if I can alley-oop this one in here. See if it'll come right in here. Come on up here, there you go. Quality fish, just not a monster. Ooh, I can feel on my leader. I'm running my hands up and down that leader, it's all chewed to pieces. Nice looking fish. Let's get him right back in the water, all right? Do you watch your line when you're fishing? Because if you don't, you're probably missing a lot of bites. Today I've only had 3 bites this morning. One of them I actually felt and was able to set the hook on. The other 2, I actually didn't feel a thing. I saw the line. I actually saw the line swimming away and moving. And what made that possible for me is because I'm using a bright fluorescent line. I've got Maxima 8-strand braid on here, a 10-pound test, and it's in a bright yellow color, and I can see it really well with my sunglasses. And so when I see that line going someplace it's not supposed to be going, that's a dead giveaway. There's only one reason why that line's moving. It's because you got a fish on. And a lot of times what will happen, a fish will come up and grab your lure but swim towards the boat and put slack in the line, and you don't feel that as a bite. So if you're not using a fluorescent line and you're not watching your line, chances are you're missing a lot of fish. That one simple tip, switching to fluorescent line, is going to make a world of difference in how many fish you catch. A world of difference. Set the electric motor in anchor mode and stay right here and fight them. Ah, so much fun. Smallmouth are so powerful. And I'd love to say they're predictable, but man, we sure have worked hard to get the fish we're catching here. So, I wonder if I can get this one over the side here. What a nice fish. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. What a giant smallmouth. Oh, yeah. More and more, I'm starting to really like what's going on up here. Wow, tremendous fish. Absolutely tremendous fish. Woo, baby. Let's talk a little bit about wind and wind management. We've been struggling with a lot of wind the last couple days, and I'm talking some horrendous wind. It makes boat control very difficult. Anytime you're out there fishing and you're trying to fight the wind, you're working against the wind, you're probably going to lose the battle. What I've been trying to accomplish here is to use the wind to my best advantage. I've been coming to the upwind side of these islands that I'm fishing and setting up and then letting the wind kind of drift me down the shoreline so that I can cast the shoreline. There's a couple of reasons for that. It's saving on electric motor power. I don't have to use the electric motor all the time. But as I'm moving down the shoreline, like for example right now, I'm getting kind of close to an edge here. I don't want to bump the bottom into this little chunk of rock that's sticking out here. So I just use the electric motor to slide me out just a little bit till I know I'm clear. Then I'll go ahead and stop it with a key fob. And then again, let the wind just continue to push me down here. The beauty of this is that if I do hook a fish, with the electric motor that I have, this is called a Motor Guide XI5, it has an anchor mode in it. By pushing one button on this key fob, I can stop and anchor the boat right where I'm at, basically hover in place, if you will. So I can fight that fish and land it without the boat drifting a long ways away from where I caught it. Then I can potentially cast right back into the same spot and hopefully get the second bite. So that anchor mode on the XI5 is just absolutely dynamite, but not fighting the wind is your biggest advantage here. Use the wind to your advantage, don't ever try to fight it. There's one. There's one. I mean, really, there's one. I love it. I love it. I missed him, and then he came back and hit it again. Oh, that's why it's not the right flavor. That makes a lot of it. That explains it. A smallmouth would have too much decency to miss it and then come back and eat it again. Ah, a little pikey here. Now I understand why I got an extra hook set out of that one. Just a little guy here. Not a big pike at all. Hope he don't bite off my tube. There he did, he just bit off my tube. Of course, I'm using fluorocarbon leader here. I got braided line, 10-pound test, Maxima 8-strand, and I terminated it down to a 15-pound test fluorocarbon leader. And the reason for that is I probably don't need 15-pound test to catch these bass, but there are a lot of pike mixed in here. And so I'm trying to avoid some of the inevitable bite-offs that I would get with pike. As you can see, this one didn't work out. He bit me off anyway. But the good news is I got lots of tube grubs. I'm going to tie on another one and we'll be back in business. Yeah, baby. All of my fish today have come on a tube bait. No surprises. Bass fishermen love tube baits, and the reason they love them is because a tube bait, when it's skittered across the bottom, looks just about identical to a crayfish scurrying around the bottom trying to escape predation. And so they do a really good job of looking like food. But it's not the only grub that would work here. Other soft plastics would do a good job as well. Like, for example, any kind of a skirted grub is going to work. A split tail style grub with 2 action tails would also work very well. There's lots of ones that people could choose if they wanted to choose a grub. I think today our success doesn't have much to do with the fact that we're fishing a tube. I think it's just running and gunning, covering a lot of water, and putting it in front of fish. When you do put it in front of fish, you're going to get bit, regardless of the soft plastic that you choose. This might be the smallest. Small eye. Oh, wow, he's a leaper though. This is a smaller fish, but man, he is a jumper. And I say smaller, it's actually a high quality fish, this small for what I've caught today. I've been right in there around a 4-pound average, 3 to 4 pound average today, with a couple of small ones mixed in. It amazes me, you know, I do a lot of walleye fishing, so when I get a chance to smallmouth fish, I'm amazed how hard they hit. The strikes are just tremendous, and the way they fight is tremendous. It's awesome, absolutely awesome. We'll see if I can alley-oop this boy into the boat. Keep him coming my way. Here he comes, there you go. Good fish. Definitely not a big smallmouth by standards of what we've been catching here. But who wouldn't want to catch a fish like that? Man, they fight great. Awesome. That's all I can say. Can't get enough of these Brennan Harbor smallmouth. Let's get this one back so we can grow up, and you all can come and catch him another time. All right, baby, back you go. That is a stud. Now we're talking. I'm gonna try and keep this one buckled up here. This one might be the best fish I've caught since I've been here. Whoa, he's a leaper, and I don't like the leapers. Too easy for him to get off. Oh man, take a look at this stud smallmouth. Look at him. Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. I don't know where you'd find prettier place to fish or prettier smallmouth. I'm gonna have to go and get the landing net for this one. He's just way too big to try to land otherwise. Come on over here to me, big guy. Whoa, he's trying to leap one more time. I got him. Now I'm talking about absolutely a wonderful smallmouth. Look at the size of this thing. I feel like a little kid because there's nothing better than catching big smallmouth, and that one is absolutely huge. well up in that 20-inch range. I've been having so much fun here. I tell you what, stuck right in the roof of the mouth with another tube. I tell you what, you get a chance to come up this way and check out the smallmouth fishing, you're gonna wanna check it out. Oh man. Well, it's easy to see why this area has got its namesake. They call this the Whaleback region of Lake Huron. And all these little smooth rocks that stick out of the water like this kind of look like a whale porpoising. They're everywhere, and so I can see where they definitely get their name. This is one of the prettiest areas, certainly one of the most scenic areas I've ever fished. Definitely gonna come back here and explore this more in the future. One of the other things I thought was cool about Brennan Harbor is that with your cottage you get a boat, of course. And that boat happens to be a Starcraft. It's a 16-footer and has a 20-horse outboard motor on it. But if you'd like a bigger boat, you can upgrade to a 17-foot boat with a 40-horse, or if you'd like, you can upgrade even to an 18-foot boat with a 50-horse on it. So you've got many options for boats here. This is big water. It's connected to the Great Lakes, of course, and so there's lots of water to look at, and the larger boat is a nice option. What we decided to do, of course, is bring our own boat. I brought the Starcraft SDX 2050 up here, and it turned out it was an ideal boat for covering lots of water and finding us some great smallmouth. Yes. Ooh, a jumper! Man, these fish just love to leap. They love to leap. Man. Now he wants to dog it out and go down. See if he comes back up for another jump. What a stellar experience here. You know, and anybody can do this. All you need is a little bit of spinning tackle. Whoa, okay, he wants to give me a hard time here. Wow. Bring him around so you can get a look at this guy. That's what I'm talking about. Nice fish. These are just, every one is just an absolute toad. They will wear you out, I tell you what. Nothing fights any harder than a smallmouth. It's a good thing they don't get as big as steelheader. You'd never be able to land one. If I can get him back up here to take a look at him. Man, oh man. That is a beautiful fish. That is a beautiful fish. I'm gonna come around to the back of the boat to land this one with the landing net, because I don't think I can get him lifted over the side. Or maybe I can just get a handle on him here this way. There he is. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Having the time of my life. Absolutely having the time of my life. Hey, my name is Mark Romanack, and you've been watching Fishing 401. If you want to go someplace where you're going to get some smallmouth that are just going to knock your socks off, check out the Whaleback region of Lake Huron. I think you'll find it's got some awesome fishing. Hey, I'll see you here same time, same place next week. Wow, what a beautiful fish. Starting to turn him a little bit now. Another quality fish. Oh, and he shakes off right at the side of the boat. That's all right. I got the best of him. I had him on for a long time.